You went to a
And
Run DMC concert?
I went to what is considered to be one of the best tours ever,
Oh yeah.
Raising Hell.
Oh, okay. That's the one that they did with what's his name? Aerosmith.
No, no, no. This was LL Cool. So Run DMC was headlining. And by the way, the reason I got into looking for this was because we should shout out the fact that he had a great career, great life, but Ecstasy died on this week. One of the rapper who wore the Zorro hat with Houdini.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Ecstasy died, and so
Oh,
56 years old, man.
man, it's our age.
Yeah, and so that got me obviously, so that's got me on a playlist of Houdini, Friends, One
Hmm.
Love, Freaks Come Out at Night,
Freaks.
5 Minutes of Funk,
Hmm.
all that stuff. And then when I finish, obviously, then I'm in like Run DMC world. But yeah, so the Raising Hell tour was the tour with Run DMC headlining,
Hmm.
Houdini, and LL Cool J, and the Beastie Boys.
Oh, wow, the Beastie Boys are great.
Yeah, so I saw that in Oakland, and let's just say I didn't have to pay for the ticket.
Hmm.
This is before my
Yeah.
this is
Before your
before
graduation.
before my long stint now with on the right side of the law for the last 30 plus years.
Yes, sir. Uh,
Yeah, let's just say I got swept in with the crowd of people through a window that miraculously opened,
hmm.
and we all entered the Oakland Coliseum together.
I see. I see. But you were probably up in the nosebleed seats, I imagine.
Oh Lord! But did we care? We walked in with Run up there like, you had a whole lot of superstars on this stage here tonight. But I want you to know one thing: it's my house. And when I say whose house, you say Run's
Hey,
house.
Ron's house.
Whose house? 20,000 people in Oakland Coliseum. Run's house. Yeah, probably one of the best concerts ever. You're like just wondering where this banter is coming from. This is the Power Hour, brought to you by Power Interfaith each and every weekday morning, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Sitting across from me, what is he rocking? Is that an IOTA t-shirt, sweatshirt?
Sweatshirt. Iota switch. It says what to say? This is I don't know. This
Oh,
Iota votes. What's your superpower? I should have worn this on Monday, so
oh,
I talked about their superpower. So
absolutely. So the IOTA who votes is Bishop Dwayne David Royster.
all right, and sitting across from me, wearing that Harley Davidson cap backwards because he's a cool, smooth brother from the west side of the United States of America, the Reverend Dr. Mark Kelly Tyler.
What's side?
West side.
And holding it all together is Kawesa.
Good
What's up, Kawesa?
morning. Good morning. How are you?
Merry Christmas, because
Merry
we won't
Christmas.
talk to you tomorrow. So Merry Christmas to you.
Same to both of you. Thank you very much.
I just want to say I'm still having some feelings about that game we played the other day, and the fact that I didn't understand. I should have won the game. I fought back, got into the top five, and then somebody knocked me out. I was very upset, but I was trying.
I'm
I
so
was trying.
sorry. I'm sorry. I felt the same way. I didn't know what was going on the first like couple minutes. Then I was like, well, at least I played. That's what I took away from
Well,
it.
well, don't worry because Donald Trump is going to issue you a pardon and declare that you actually won the game.
Look, being a friend of Trump actually has its advantages right now, right? I mean, you can get
Yeah.
out of jail for free card.
What I want to know is, all right, so yesterday he did a whole lot more pardoning,
Yes, he
right?
did.
Pardon me. I'm sorry. Pardon me. No, pardon me. No, pardon me. I'm Jared Kushner's dad. We're co-parents of we're co-in-laws. Hook
Yes.
a brother up, Charlie. Yeah, but Chris Christie, my guy, is the one who convicted you. So it must be. This is not like some Democratic witch hunt.
Right.
Yeah, but forget all that. Just pardon me, sir. Pardon me. So Donald Trump pardoned his fellow in-law along with Manafort and Stone, as predicted, and a bunch of other, unsavory types. Let's just say that.
Right. That's right.
Uh, So anybody that was basically who Trump just deems should be out. Forget the law. Forget that, that these persons have done things like witness tampering.
Hmm.
And this is what the feds say. And this is what many of them pled guilty to, right?
Yeah.
This is not like they didn't plead to it. But he's turned a lot of them loose. Many of them were out of jail anyway, but now pardoning it takes off your record.
That's
Basically,
right.
it's a big time expungement,
Never happened.
right?
Yeah.
Never happened.
Yeah.
Never happened. You don't have to check that box on that application anymore, Charlie Kushner.
Hmm.
Like you applied for anything, right? So Royster,
Yes.
I would say if I were you, if you're still upset about the game at the Christmas party for WURD, just call Trump's people and they will. Who actually won the game, by the way?
Envy McKee won the game. Envy
No,
McKee.
Envy, you did not win.
Envy did not win.
I'm gonna tell you right now, you did not win. We have a letter from Trump saying that your win has been vacated.
Yeah,
Dwayne Royster is now the winner.
I got you. Well, you got
Along
to take Amadi came in second, so we got to Amadi Braxton came in second, so we got to take that out.
Vacated.
Just totally vacated them. Hey, did you hear that Trump has invited all the Republican members of the state House and Senate to the White House?
Wait.
Pennsylvania. He's invited all the state reps and the state senators in Pennsylvania to the White House to come meet with him.
This is going to be before January 6th when Mike has to.
But this is the state level. This is the state level. He wants to invite them because they have another lawsuit coming out against Pennsylvania, trying to sue and try to knock out the Pennsylvania votes because they claim that the Pennsylvania Supreme Court overreached. So he has extended invitation yesterday. He extended invitation to all of the Republican leadership in Pennsylvania, including all the members of the state House and the state Senate, to come to the White House for a luncheon with him, with no agenda.
Well, watch how you use that word, leadership.
Well, some of them have already claimed that they're busy, but there are others that are planning on going and have already made arrangements to go to the White House to go meet with the president, including one of our state reps, and I don't have the thing right in front of me, who actually went last time, and when he got there found out he had COVID because he had been around Rudy Giuliani. So, this is all real exciting. I don't understand our Pennsylvania legislators really at this point and what they're thinking. And the other issue is that there is a state Senate race that's still up in the air, that the fact that this issue with the ballots is not resolved is causing some problems. So
yeah. Well, let me ask you this though. So going back to the story about all the Trump pardons. So are there cases where some of these pardons will be eventually? Where it won't matter because some of these people are still facing state crimes, and are there instances, for example, where state crimes were not lifted up? Maybe because they felt like, well, the feds have it, so no need for us to prosecute them. Can they still be prosecuted and it not be considered double jeopardy?
Yeah, so as long as as long as they're under state statute, yes, they could still be tried for that. I mean, this is the thing about Trump with the state of New York right now, right? Because of some of the issues with his foundation and finances with that, he could actually be charged and convicted on issues at the state level, but they probably would not go after him as a federal level. I mean, I'm ultimately waiting for Trump to write his own pardon at this point. I'm thinking that's January 19th. Trump's going to pardon himself or whatever.
Well, let me ask you. So, has this ever happened where a president issued pardons for crimes that had not yet been brought to the public's attention, had not been tried and not been convicted? I know we keep talking about this being a possibility of him issuing blanket pardons for the family. So when does this ever happen?
Ford did that for Nixon. Nixon had not been charged or convicted of anything, but Ford gave him a blanket pardon.
So that makes sense, right? Because, again, I think that back in those days, it was kind of the decency is the decent thing to do. The guy's already resigned from office. He's gone. you don't go now trying to like dig up dirt on it would not look good for any future president. If it was a Democrat, it would look like it's, being vengeful. If it's Republican, why do it? But now the way in which Trump is thinking about using these, right, for all of his children, for himself, I'm just wondering, how does that work?
What do you mean in terms of the
Well,
early or
no, I'm
just
just saying, like, literally, like, so I pardon myself for all future crimes,
no?
and so
It can only be past crimes. It would have to be past crimes.
uh,
So it can
wow.
only be anything up until the point of the pardon that you would be. So anything he does in the future is something totally different. But can only be things for the past. I mean, if he's smart, on the 18th he resigns. Pence gets sworn in for a day. Pence writes him a pardon, and then he's good to go.
Do you really think he would
No,
ever give
absolutely not.
Pence the dignity of being able to say he was the president of the United States?
Absolutely not. But it's an idea.
They
I
screw
mean,
up.
look, let me just be clear, right? All the presidents clear their cronies,
Right.
right? I mean, the only person that really didn't have a problem clearing his cronies was Obama,
Yeah,
right?
he had no cronies.
Right. I mean, Bill Clinton cleared a series of his cronies when he was getting ready to leave office. There was some couple people got convicted around a real estate deal that he and Hillary got caught up.
Whitewater.
Yeah, Whitewater. So he cleared a few of those folks, stuff like that. I mean, all of them clear their friends. That's part of the power that they have. They don't necessarily do it at the beginning of their terms, but they will do it on the back end of their terms. Now, the interesting thing about Obama is that Obama actually commuted a lot of sentences and pardoned a lot of people, but he had a whole team from the DOJ that worked on this his whole term in office, where they were addressing the issues about people that have been incarcerated at the federal level, falsely, or, a lot of times it was folk that had drug charges and stuff like that they were working on getting rid of. But yeah, but I mean, look, for the most part, this is the benefit of being a president. You got the most power of any person in the country, and you hook up your friends. You take care of your people.
Well, yeah. So it just seems so horrible, though. I mean, it's just, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know this is what people do, and it doesn't surprise anybody, but when you see it in real time, it just seems this time that it's just overkill. And perhaps it's because Trump has had the most people around him to go to prison.
Well, he's very corrupt. So, I mean, corruption attracts corruption.
Yeah.
And when you can live your life on the edge and think that anything goes, then you just do whatever you think you can do. And
Well,
you don't think you have any repercussions for it. So, yeah.
that's true. Well, I will say this. He is still actually out there working as the best free chicken that we've ever had. He is in full free chicken mode, man. I mean,
You got to explain that. We haven't talked about free chicken for a while, so you got to explain that.
well, let's see. I don't know if Tawanda is on yet. Tawanda can throw it in the chat, or Raphael or somebody can throw it in the chat for those on Facebook Live. And by the way, hit the share button if you don't mind. Bring your friends and family in it. But tell folk what free chicken is. Free chicken essentially is, I'll give you the thumbnail version. It is when someone is out there doing things for you that you would pay them to do, but they do it for free.
That's right. It's free chicken.
The Russians kind of coined the phrase. So or not the Russians, our spy agency. So when you have an agent who turns and gets nothing in return, that's free chicken. Donald Trump basically blowing up the stimulus plan, potentially. If he doesn't sign this on Monday, it's blown up. That's free chicken for the Democrats in Georgia, because he has now declared what Democrats have said all along. In fact, heck, dude, what you and I just said on the radio 2 days before he did it.
Yeah.
Did we not go through this long thing on Monday about it needs to be at least $2,000 a person, not $600,
That's
not
right.
$1,200? And what did Trump do? As though he'd been eavesdropping on our radio show, he comes out and says $600 is an insult to the American people. It should be $2,000. I'm going to Mar-a-Lago for vacation. Peace. It is, let me just tell you, in Georgia now, that is, again, the momentum is already on the side of Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff in this race. And I mean, I think that they're going to win by the slimmest of slim margins, but this is only going to help them because now Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue cannot say publicly that they want $2,000 because they're Republicans, and the Republican Senate says, no, we only want 600. They
That's
can't.
right.
So do you break from the party, or do you now follow the president and not knowing what the heck he's going to say in the next day, right?
Sure.
He gets you out there with 2,000, then he backs up and says, no, I'm going to sign it for 600. I changed my mind. By a humbug. They are like totally screwed.
Well, I mean, well, first of all, Nancy Pelosi has called an emergency session of the House today, right? Because they want to
Yeah.
vote to move it to $2,000. So that will be a piece. I mean, I don't honestly. I'm a little confused by Trump right now. In fact, let's be real with you. He's doing some things that I don't know what the game plan is. I was actually talking to a friend last night from the Society for Faith and Justice, Reverend Ebony Grissom, and she and I were having this conversation. And Ebony used to lead the Ecumenical Poverty Initiative in Washington, D.C. And we were talking about Trump, and I said, I don't fully know what his plan is here, right? Because he also vetoed the defense budget.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that's not a Republican thing to do at all. I can see a Democrat doing that,
Mm-hmm.
but a Republican doing denying the defense budget. I'm like, there's some gamesmanship happening here. I don't know if this is him getting back at all the Republicans that did not back him, or get out there and talk about how the vote is bad. Is this a way for him to talk about the $2,000 to get his minions up in arms, and that they're going to go out there and say, we need him as president because we're going to get our $2,000, right? I'm a little suspect about some of his actions at the moment, and what he's doing. I'm like, I can't take it all at face value, right? There's something going. I mean, is this also a part of him setting up the run for 2024, right? I'm gonna get these people a whole bunch of monies. The last thing that they're going to get is a check with my name on it, and I'm getting $8,000, and the deficit and everything is so bad in the country right now that Biden won't be able to do anything similar. So, I don't know. I'm just like, yeah, I'm not sure where he's going with this. He's got something on his mind, but I'm not sure what he's trying to do. And as each day goes on, I get more concerned because he gets more and more erratic.
Well, Bernita says it's a setup with a big laughing emoji. I agree.
Yeah.
The question is, what is it setting up for? I tend to agree with you. I think it's setting up for 2024.
Mhm.
That that he is at least going to go out in a quote unquote blaze of glory, looking like he's for the American people. No, and that's not what this is about. This is really just about him, using money like he uses black folk as props. He doesn't care because as far as he's concerned, somebody else will pay for this. He doesn't, he's out there spending money, as we said before, like a drunken sailor.
Mhm.
But that being the case, listen, we got to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation, maybe squeeze in a phone call or two. Got to talk about the Philly police. They're not very good, according to a report that they commissioned. The COVID, they're like this is the Keystone State, and they are the Keystone Cops.
Absolutely.
They're just not very good. COVID vaccines and how rural PA is being slammed. And since this is Christmas Eve, I think Charles Dickens wrote this script for 2020. Bah humbug. We'll be right back on the other side of the break. It's the Power Hour. Don't you move.
This year's been tough, but it's given me a lot of time to learn new skills through the internet.
I've been joining more classes during lockdown.
I'm doing an internship.
I taught myself how to play guitar.
So when people ask,
Will I be able to learn online?
I feel like I'm ready.
Internet Essentials from Comcast has connected millions of families from low-income homes to the internet. So no matter what back to school looks like, students can be ready for anything. Learn more at comcast.com/Internet Essentials.
Want to buy black for the holidays?
WURD Radio has got you covered. WURD is proud to present our virtual holiday marketplace online. Support local, small, black-owned businesses through the marketplace and purchase your holiday gifts today. Visit wordradio.com/marketplace or wordworks.com/marketplace.
This message is from the Philadelphia Department of Public Health. COVID-19 is still a threat in our communities. but we can all do something simple to help stop the spread. It's critically important to wear a mask or face covering whenever you're in public or around others. Yes, even while social distancing. Wearing a mask shows you care for yourself and your community and is essential to slowing the spread of COVID-19. So love yourself, love your neighbors, wear a mask.
Now, a traffic update
on WURD Radio.
Good morning. Pretty quiet start here in Philadelphia so far this Thursday morning. No major problems out there. Schuylkill Expressway westbound University through 30th. Just some light volume through the ongoing construction there. Eastbound looks good. By an expressway in pretty good shape through Center City. I-95 southbound not bad through that work zone. Cotman down through Bridge. Northbound moving fine as well. Looking at 42, 55, 295 in New Jersey running with no major problems. For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. I'm Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent black media.
Welcome back to the Power Hour with Bishop Dwayne Royster and the Reverend Dr. Mark Kelly Tyler. Hey, WURD, you want to buy black for the holidays? We got you covered. WURD Radio is proud to present our virtual holiday marketplace online. Support local, small, black-owned businesses through the marketplace and purchase your holiday gifts today. Go to wurdradio.com/marketplace or wordworks.com/marketplace. So you can still try to reach out there, and if you can't get Christmas gifts, get your Kwanzaa gifts. Get your Kwanzaa gifts and get them all ready. And if you can't get Kwanzaa gifts, get your watch night gifts. So you have your everything you need to prepare for watch night service this year virtually. So check it out, and we are, hoping that you'll support these small-owned black businesses here in the city of Philadelphia and beyond. We want to make sure we keep our economy, keep our dollars in our community, and keep the economy churning. All right.
Robert Garland wants us to know the 76ers won their opening game.
Doc Rivers got his first win as a Sixers coach.
Yeah, can't say the same about my Golden State Warriors, but it's all good, man,
I'm going to have to watch the Sixers this year. I might actually have to get into basketball. So did I ever tell you that I tried out for basketball when I was in high school and they made me the scorekeeper?
This is what explains it.
I tried out for the basketball team when I was in high school, 9th grade, and they made me the scorekeeper.
This explains everything. I've just been wondering, why this, how can you just not follow sports at all? But you never told me the story, literally, in the 10 plus years we've known each other. This is a new story, and now everything else makes sense.
So I played football my freshman year, and I was a center and nose guard. And then I was actually a student at Germantown Academy, which is out in Fort Washington. I spent 2 years in private school through the A Better Chance program, which was a program designed for minority students to go into private school. If you have kids out there that you're interested in getting into private school, please check out the A Better Chance program. I did 2 years at Germantown Academy. It was very tough years for me. And I played football my freshman year. I was a center and a nose guard. And I was the only guy on the football team they did not give any letters to. Because I was also on the debate team at the same time, and I missed a couple of games going to debate tournaments up in Massachusetts. So then I decided to try out for the basketball team because the debate season was over, and they told me that I was too rough, and I played basketball like football, and so they made me the scorekeeper. Because at Germantown Academy, you had to earn a certain amount of activity points every year because they were trying to create well-rounded students, and the best way to get activity points was to play a sport. So you got 12 points per trimester if you played a sport. So I attempted to play basketball, and it was a journey. Yeah, those were some very tough years for me. Bernita's asking why it was tough. I was a kid. I was born in Germantown, raised in Mount Airy. And I had never really been around money like that. Folk with serious money. I remember my freshman year, these kids living out in, Montgomery County, rolling up in cars. They're 13, 14 years old. They driving to school. It was just a different world. I mean, if you want to talk about different world, remember that show with Kim, what was her name? Kim
Fields.
Kim Fields. Yeah. A different world. I was a different world, and I was miserable the whole time I was out there.
No, not different world. The
Oh
Yeah,
no, no.
she was Tootsie.
Facts of Life.
Yeah.
Like so yeah, it was just a whole different experience for me, and I was pretty miserable while I was out there. I mean, it's a great school. I learned a lot while I was there. But for me, socialization, it's not a good experience. So anyway.
Well, I went through that too. I mean, my mom sacrificed to keep me in. I don't know how she paid that tuition at Bishop O'Dowd High School and St. Pascal's. It's nothing worse than being like broke at a school where everybody's rich or solidly middle class.
Yeah, no, for real. I mean, the best thing happened to me was my parents. So my sophomore year, they took me out, and I went to Lincoln High School up in the Northeast. My last 2 years of high school were a blast. I went to the top of my class. I debated. I was an Air Force Junior ROTC. I had a car. I was doing all kinds of stuff. It was great. My last 2 years of high school were absolutely fantastic. And I don't talk about Germantown Academy very much, but I talk about Lincoln all the time. It was a very different environment. Actually, Lincoln was the only high school in the city of Philadelphia at that time that had not met its desegregation goal. So all the white schools in the city had to get to a goal of 28% minority students in it. And Lincoln was the only school that had not done that. What was interesting was that they had a principal by the name of Dr. Harry Silcox, who had gotten his PhD from Temple in African American Studies. He was a white guy. He was a very interesting guy to be around. So, I mean, it was he died I don't know, about 20 years ago. But Harry Silcox, he also was a basketball player, I think, too, at some point. So, So anyway, it was a real interesting journey. But I tried out for sports. I wasn't very coordinated. And I played for the National Junior Tennis League when I was a teenager. So I had sports experiences. But I think
they were just bad. They were
just bad. And as a result of that, I don't do sports, right? I don't because of my size, right? So a lot of people don't know I'm about 6'4", and I'm a really big dude. So I'm not 6'4" and skinny. I'm 6'4" and big. And so I look like a football player. I mean, going down the street, you see me coming, you're like, that dude play football. And the thing about it was I was really much more in the development of my mind, right? So I was on the debate team. And I debated in 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. And then I started debating in my freshman year of college when I was at Boston College. But those folks spent too much time in the library. I mean, I didn't mind being in the library a little bit, but they were like living there. And I'm like, that's not happening. So, because I planned on enjoying my college career. So, I didn't finish debating in college, but I debated around the country when I was in high school. So we were doing tournaments all over the place, especially when I was at Germantown Academy. So, and I had a deeper development appreciation for the mind. And unfortunately, because of racism, the school out there, they just saw a big black dude, and all they wanted me to do was go work out and get ready to play sports for them. And I could care less about that. I was more concerned about doing debate. So anyway, I won't continue to bore you all with the stories of my life and all the traumas that I've experienced at the hands of white institutions and dealing with racism and oppression and implicit bias. But nevertheless, unfortunately, black people do this too. The first question they ask me when they see me is like, what position did you play? What position did you play? I'm like, why? And I say first affirmative. And they were like,
oh, wow.
And they were like, what? I said first affirmative. And they're like, what's that? I said, that's my position on the debate team was first affirmative. So that was, it was just like, oh, wow. They don't even know what to say to that. So, anyway, I intentionally do that to people just to really throw them off.
Well, I will simply say this, that, we can fix all of that for you. Your past can be scrubbed away. Because this morning, Donald Trump is issuing pardons for everything that went wrong in your life. And he can go back to Germantown Academy and make you the star basketball player. Who was the star player back then at your school?
Oh, man, I had a couple of guys. Let me see. It was Chris Williams, who eventually went to Siena. No,
there you
Chris
go.
Wake Forest. There was Otis Ellis. Otis actually went to play. Did he go for University of Rochester? He and Rick Williams, I think, went to play for University of Rochester.
No, they didn't. No, I'm telling you, it's been rewritten.
It's been rewritten.
That was Dwayne Royster. Otis went on to have a stellar career on the debate team, and Dwayne Royster went on to have a great career at Siena. All-time scorer, because Donald Trump, our free chicken, is giving out pardons and changing history right now. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
See,
thanks.
it's all good now. So
Nah,
you can embrace sports now.
Can I just respond to Raphael real quick here. So Boston, Raphael said Boston's a very good school. He said you secretly wanted to be a lawyer if you debated. Actually, that was the plan. Originally was that I was going to Boston College as a poli-sci major. I was going to become a lawyer, and then I was coming back to Philadelphia to be a politician. So a lawyer and a politician in the city. And that's exactly what the plan was with my parents. When I went to college, although my high school yearbook says I was going to school to become an Air Force pediatrician, I actually changed midway through my senior year of high school and decided that I wanted to go to become a lawyer. And so that was the plan. And then when I got called to ministry, that threw everything off. Well, that was a whole other story. We'll get to that maybe sometime in January. So anyway.
That throws everything off, trust me.
Absolutely.
That's wrecked many a career. I wanted to be, and then God came knocking. Well, so I know this is a bit off topic, but I want to just say that I saw Raphael's comment on what you were saying, the notion of it kind of seems to be, I hope I'm not putting words in your mouth, Raphael. I know if I am, you'll correct me in the thread, that these private schools are a good option for kids who are coming from failing public schools. Mm-hmm. Well, let me just say again, so for me, it was a very similar experience growing up in East Oakland. In fact, my family moved to that neighborhood in 1968 because it would have put me into the Skyline High School catchment, which is where Gary Payton went and a whole bunch of other folk. Really good, it's still a good high school, and probably the best public high school in Oakland, way up in the hills. We were at the bottom of the hill. We're just high enough to be out of the flatlands, but not high enough to be considered in the hills. We were like in that mid-level area.
Right.
Right after they got there, they changed they redistricted the area as blacks started moving in that area, and then put us, so my mom spent all that money moving to get put right back into the district she was already in. Mm-hmm. So that's why we ended up going to Catholic school, right? Because she thought that was like a better option.
Right.
The other side of all of this is, and we continue to see the consequences, this is where a lot of black parents struggle, mm-hmm. which is the issue of trying to get a quality education for your child and balancing the fact that if they don't have the emotional and societal support in a school, that you don't come out right anyway. So you come out educated, you come out with a degree, but man, you're all messed up in the head. So you went the debate team route, right? For me, I went the thuggish route. And so, I did everything I could to be disruptive and not to conform and not to fit in because I just wasn't feeling it. I knew they didn't want me there. It was very clear they didn't want me there. Everything about the school said, we don't want you here. And I kept wondering, why did you even let us in? I mean, because we were a part of that all of the high school graduation pictures leading up to when I got there in 1980 were almost exclusively white students.
Absolutely.
There had been a handful of black students.
That's right.
And so you get there and it's like, well, do you just totally assimilate and lose all of your culture? Or do you go, there was like no middle ground, I felt. Now, looking back, I'm sure there was. I could have done it probably differently, but I chose what a 9th grader, 10th grader would probably do and left on your own, And so the long-term solution is creating better educational opportunities in our own neighborhoods, where you have quality education like the Germantown Academy or like Bishop O'Dowd that are in your neighborhood. Yeah. Where you don't have to leave your community, you don't have to leave your set of friends, and that you can be a scholar and an athlete and a debate team specialist or anything that you want without leaving Germantown, without leaving Powhatan, without leaving, North Philly, that can happen. I mean, that to me is the ultimate, ought to be the ultimate expression and dream of where we want to go and the kind of world that we want. Because right now, really smart kids, black kids who come out of like impoverished communities or families or barely middle class, honestly, there are just not a lot of great opportunities that give you all of that in one package.
Yeah, I mean, one of the challenges, I mean, you have like Masterman, Central Girls High, maybe engineering and science, but you don't have a lot of really quality. And forget about the middle school level. I mean, I went to Amy, there was Masterman and there was Amy, and there was Fiddler Elementary, middle school when we were coming up that were for the really smart kids. But if you didn't get into one of those, then you were kind of, out of luck. And I think, but here's one of the challenges that I faced. My freshman year at Germantown Academy in English, and part of this was that I shouldn't say I was behind, but I would say that Germantown Academy was advanced. And so my freshman year coming into Germantown Academy, we were reading in English class books that I would read in my freshman English class at Boston College, right? So we were writing papers and long papers and doing all these other things related to school. And I mean, I struggled. I got to be honest, I struggled academically comparatively. Now this is what happened though. In 2 years that I spent at Germantown Academy, by the time I got back to public school at Lincoln, part of the reason I enjoyed school so much was that I skated my last 2 years, because a lot of the work that I was doing outside of like chemistry and other things and physics, a lot of the work that I was doing in traditional classes, the math classes and the English classes and other things, I had already done my freshman and sophomore year in high school.
Sure.
So basically for me, that was all repetitive. So, and so part of the reason I'm such an advocate today around education, it relates to this experience I had of being in two different worlds, right? Dickens talks about a tale of two cities. Well, I want to talk about the tale of two different educational systems, one for rich white kids and the rest for black and brown kids. And I understand deeply at a core level, because I lived it, the real differences that exist in those educational systems and what the expectations are. So anyway,
well, we both do. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Look, I know what I mean. Look, I left
a PhD in education administration. You totally understand it.
I'm talking about the lived experience that you lived, right? So to leave, because I left. So geographically, check this out. My high school was like maybe a quarter mile away from the worst high school. So where all my friends went, my neighborhood school. So I would leave O'Dowd, just drive down the hill to 90th and MacArthur and hang out on the corner there to wait for all my Castlemont friends. I got out at 2:30, they got out at 3. So a lot of people from Castlemont to this day think I went to Castlemont because they saw me
down there.
I changed out of like my clothes. I didn't have a uniform anymore, but we had you couldn't wear sneakers. You had to wear like, there was a dress code. Right. I'd get out of that stuff, throw my 501s on, hat turned on backwards, on my gear, and I'm waiting for like my whole crew. And I knew what they were, there were no metal detectors in my school. There was none of that stuff. But again, without all the emotional stuff that goes with it, I'm just telling you, as a parent today, who's now, have 4 kids and only one left in high school.
Yeah.
We continue to wrestle with, did we do the right thing?
Yeah.
And, because I'm seeing it kind of relive itself, and now hearing stories from my children, things that I didn't realize that they were going through in places like Masterman, in places like Meredith, in really good schools that people would kill to get their kids into, and right. You don't even know that your kids are going through this stuff. I mean, there's a big thread out there, being black at Masterman. One of my daughters helped create that. And so to hear, and now I'm like, wait a minute, when did all this happen? Well, we didn't want to tell you. I'm like, what?
Right, because they do you going down there and act and do what you're going to do.
Wait, this really at Masterman in like 2017?
Yeah.
So look, we're beyond the break, but I think we're touching on something that maybe we need to explore fully in January with maybe an entire series. It'd be great to have a whole week on this, because there are a lot of people who have studied this from multiple angles and to hear people's stories. But again, I'll just say, as a parent, you do your best, you do what you think is right. And, it's hit and miss. But we got to take a quick break. We are way, way, way over. Sorry, Kwesa. I know they're going to get at you. Just tell them to text me. I'll take the heat today. We'll be right back on the other side of the break. It's the Power Hour.
I'm Councilmember Derek Green. As the holidays approach, we've all heard the news. A vaccine for COVID is coming. However, now is not the time to let our guard down. As COVID continues to spread, keep wearing your mask, practice social distancing, and avoid large get-togethers. It will take time before we all get vaccinated. Until then, keep yourself, your family, and community safe. We will get through this pandemic together. Stay safe and stop the spread.
Tune in Saturdays from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. to hear Empire Capital and Consulting founder Mark Palmer's show titled Black Money, Black Power. This show centers around black money and how black power is derived from money. Tune in every Saturday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Black Money, Black Power, hosted by Mark Palmer. Tune in this Saturday at 10 a.m. for the Educational Pulse with the School District of Philadelphia with host Dr. William Haidt.
Now, a traffic update
on WURD Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by Merrill. Still not too bad as you move on this morning here in Philadelphia. 95 southbound. Still looking good from the northeast down through the Vine Expressway northbound. Moving fine. Schuylkill Expressway westbound between University and 30th. The left lane block there with ongoing construction. Eastbound side in good shape as well. PA Turnpike, Blue Route 476 moving fine. 42, 55, 295 in New Jersey. A quiet ride as well. When questions find you, Merrill Edge Self-Directed Investing has personalized tools and insights to help you find answers. Get started at merrilledge.com/withinreach. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, registered broker-dealer, member SIPC. For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent black media.
Welcome back to the Power Hour. This is Dwayne Royster along with Mark Kelly Tyler. We are here Monday through Fridays from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. to bring you the latest in news, happenings around Philadelphia, and, of course, our opinion. We're going to jump in because we are actually running behind because we got late to the break. Doc, go ahead, take it away.
All right. Well, Maurice has been patiently waiting this morning. Maurice, good morning, Merry Christmas, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, that's what I call for Merry Christmas to both of you and a Happy New Year.
Thank you, sir.
Even though I seem like I'm your adversary, I'm actually one of y'all biggest fans. That's why I wake up at 4:30 in the morning to listen to.
Thank you, sir. Much obliged. We appreciate that.
But I would like a Christmas present.
Go ahead. Okay. Royster's listening.
And my Christmas present is I wish in 2001, 21, I would like for you to be just a little more local with your conversation. And I would like you not to put Facebook callers so much in front of regular callers. I mean, we want a little space in there, too. You know, because we wake up in the morning to listen to you guys. We want to be part of the experience of the brothers. You understand what I'm saying?
All right, Maurice, I have a Christmas wish as well, that you come and become one of our producers. You can help us.
Oh, I could do that because I've done it before.
Mm-hmm. All right, there you go. All right. Have a great Christmas, Maurice. You know, I always say that these shows have the different strokes on these shows, right?
Yeah.
So some of them are like hyper local. Some are like ours. We tend to talk more about the national story, and it's a 1 hour show. I get it. You're about to get a whole day full of local news. Trust me. Someone said, no, we didn't accidentally hang up on Maurice Joseph. That's not what happened. All right. For more local news, George and his dog. Good morning, George.
Good morning. They're sitting here, and they unlike some of those 17 council people, they're well behaved and understand. You know, you say stay there, they stay there. You say shut up, they shut up. You know. Let me ask Oyster a question.
Yes, sir.
A serious question. Did you ever get your white card?
Did I ever get my white card?
Get a black card. People be working hard to get a black card. Did you ever get? Was you ever accepted and they gave you a white card?
No.
Oh, you didn't? Oh,
no.
You worked pretty hard at it. You know, they should have gave you should get, matter of fact, they should give you an honorary white card now, But let's skip over that. We'll talk about that later.
I'm not really sure how I feel about that. I'm not really sure how I'm experiencing that right now.
All I have to say, George, is if your dog comes up missing today, don't say I didn't warn you. All right, George. Hey, George, we got to roll, man. It's already, we got like 5 minutes left on the show. Have a good holiday, man. you blew your shot on that joke. Can't believe you waited all that time for that bad joke. That was awful.
Yes, it was. And see, this is part of the challenge, though, right? You know, if you have different interest in the black community, you're often perceived as something, you know, not black. And I'm like, actually, I'm extremely black, and I care deeply about the black community. But I play at it a bit differently.
Well, let me just say that Facebook, Maurice, to your point about Facebook, they're not feeling you or George today on those calls. I just want you to know. I'm not sure if you all are on Facebook, but you might not want to look at today's thread. All I'm saying is one of you been called a joker. You can debate which one got called a joker. Asa Khalees got your back though, Royster. You're good.
I appreciate that. Thank you, brother.
Hey, so speaking of Asa, so Asa reminds me that the Philadelphia Police commissioned their own independent report on the protest this summer. I'm also, now I've said this before, I'm co-chairing along with Jeff Brown of ShopRite. We are co-chairing a community-led effort that is helping to guide a separate independent investigation that's done by the city controller's office, Rebecca Reinhardt. Here's your local stuff, George and Maurice. And so that report has not been issued yet. All right. And so, but the report that has been issued was done by the city.
Right. And
that came out yesterday. And so this one you would imagine is actually more favorable. And boy, it's not good.
Yeah.
They basically just said there were just epic failures on every level, including unauthorized use of tear gas, staffing shortages, inability for commanders to make people come in. And one of the recommendations that's been made, I've actually said this to some folk within law enforcement at a higher level. I said this exact same thing in the wake of this, that you all need a kitchen kind of what do you call that? A kitchen cabinet? That's your yes. Language?
Yeah.
Yeah, that you need a kitchen cabinet of activists and organizers. Y'all, we'll never agree with each other on where policing ought to go. That's kind of the nature of it. But that you need to have some trusted voices that you can go to when things like, I don't know, like the cops shoot and kill somebody black who's unarmed, or, that should have been like taken down in a different kind of way, and things are going to explode. This should not catch anybody off guard anymore, right? And I've never been in Philadelphia, my almost 20 years now in this area. I don't even know what it is to have a white police commissioner. So I've been through 4, all have been black.
Well, except the one they had interim, she was white.
Okay, thank you. But actually installed police commissioners, I've not been through one that was not black, the one person notwithstanding who was the interim. And so they have relationships, right? And it's not like these folk are strangers to the community. It just seems to me that you should not be caught off guard in moments like this, and that there ought to be some informal back channel conversations to make sure that you know exactly who the actors are.
Yeah. Timothy wasn't here when you first got here?
Who?
Timothy.
No. Sylvester Johnson.
Oh, Sylvester Johnson. Okay. Yeah, I was trying to think what it. Okay.
Remember, I came in. I moved to the area under John Street's administration.
Gotcha.
But I wasn't really in the city. I was pastoring in Camden. But I mean, if you're in Camden, from my perspective, it felt like I was in Philly.
Philadelphia.
Well, and Leslie was working in Philly, so we've been in Philly, and one of us, or before both of us, for for our entire time here. But I just think that the report is extremely revealing about what has to happen next. There's nothing in the report that literally any activist or organizer or anybody who's been watching the news for the last half a year couldn't have told you without a report being commissioned. And the big question is, what do you do next? And it does not address how you get and root out these racist cops either.
Yeah, I mean, look, even with all the black commissioners that we had, they still couldn't get rid of the racist cops.
Right.
Ramsey was trying to get rid of folk. And just the way the law was set up made it very complicated to be able to do that with the Act 111 laws. He was trying to fire folk, and they kept putting him right back on the force. So it was really, really rough. So I hear you on that. I mean, the report's damning, especially since there are certain rules in place, like on the use of tear gas. It only went to Commissioner Outlaw one time. The other 3 times they used it, they never bothered to call and check with her. It was problematic because this is reminiscent of what happened with Move when they dropped the bomb on the Move house. That Sanborn, that they didn't reach out to Good, and that Sanborn dropped it. But Good wound up taking the heat for it. But they did not follow chain of command to do what they needed to do that. And I think that that's very problematic.
Yeah, well, listen, unfortunately, we're running out of time. I just want to just say that thank you to the Facebook folk for all the love. I would imagine a lot of the callers who don't call in, who listen by the radio and other means, are probably feeling the same thing. They're encouraging us to keep doing what we are doing. Right on, Gail. Appreciate all of you all. Bernita, thank you for having our back. K. Rashad Bey, don't know what you're talking about. I'm quoting RS like he's the gospel. I don't even know who RS is.
Raphael Sultan.
Oh, God. Come on. Thank you. Come on. You listen to the show enough to know why, right? Raphael is our point counterpoint. He often says things that, again, it kind of helps move the show along. Right on, Ed Minner. Happy Merry Christmas and blessings to you as well. Merry Christmas, Maleka, and all of you all as well who don't celebrate Christmas, those who celebrate Chanukah or Hanukkah, as other people call it, those who celebrate Kwanzaa. If you got your stuff ready, I got my Kinara ready, and I'm about to, listen, I got an idea. So I'm going to preach a series starting this Sunday and including Watch Night and all of January. The next 7 sermons are going to be on the Nguzo Saba.
All right.
So if you want to check it out on Facebook. And by the way, tonight at 7 o'clock on Mother Bethel's Facebook page, you can hear Handel's Messiah from 2013, directed by M. Barry Currington. If you want to hear a current version, our good friend Marshall Mitchell, pastor of Salem Baptist Church in Roslyn, is having a live performance at the same time. Because it's Facebook, you can actually watch them both at different times. So a lot of good stuff this weekend. Have a Merry Christmas. I'm done.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody, for joining us. We'll be back next week. We will not be back tomorrow. So we'll be back next week on Monday at 6 a.m. to bring you the latest news, happenings around Philadelphia, and, of course, our opinions, because you get a lot of that every time you join our show. Listen, please be safe out there. Enjoy your holidays. Please use social distancing. Put on your face mask. Practice good sanitation during this time frame. We deeply appreciate all of you. Merry Christmas to all those that celebrate Christmas this season. And since we won't be back until the middle of Kwanzaa, Habari Gani, we appreciate you.
Habari Gani, Wanda. I see you out there. Habari Gani.
I also want to shout out Deacon Maleka Walls, who's watching, and Dr. Clinthia Dowdy, who's watching as well. We appreciate you. Now, listen, stay tuned for Wake Up with Word with Solomon Jones. It'll be on in just a few moments. And listen, go out, change the damn world, because if you don't, nobody else will. Peace.
That's where